Hello, this is Schneider's Bureau from Berlin. My name is Mr. Schneider, and I had the big luck to organize the Superbooth 17, where plenty of friends and artists and manufacturers from all over the world came to Berlin, introducing us to electronic musical instruments. One of them was coming from North America, and he brought a friend from Canada, and I'm very happy to welcome them both here to my little office, having a little chat about the concerts they played that we recorded and that we will show to you as a wonderful video file further on. And I would very much welcome from Canada, Mr. Matt Didemus, and I welcome Mr. Mark Verbos from New York City, who's now, as Mr. Matt Didemus, living in Berlin. And I think we're on that camera there, too, are we? Yeah, we can see us over there. We can say hooray, hooray to whoever's watching this. And I just wanted to give you one question. What was the best on Superbooth from your point of view?
For me, it was mainly just walking around the whole event and from booth to booth rather than sitting at specific things. I really just liked the energy and chaos of especially chaos of the of the whole thing. But I think it had a really special kind of feel for an event which is showcasing all these different instruments. And it's much different than any other. There's nothing really like it.
What was the best for you?
Well, I like the performances, and of course we are involved in events like this all over the world all the time. So it's nice to see our friends from the different manufacturers, but this happens over and over again. So the things that are unique to the event here are the performances and some of the Gesprächskonzert,
Yes.
allowing a bit more unique touch, because really that's where Superbooth shines, is to have more actual presentation and a little bit less just standing around the tables and talking to the same people all the time. So I think maybe we were excited about performing in quad for the first time, and I think our main competition in quad was Ricardo Villalobos and Max Loderbauer, which I really enjoyed what they did with it. And then we were just on a mission to do something more quad than they were doing.
Aha, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize that.
Yeah, we spent almost all of our preparatory time for this just figuring out how we would do quad logistically.
Yeah.
So we didn't rehearse at all. We just sort of set up the conditions so that we could make some improvisational music that was actually in quad. And as it's not a widely used format at the moment, it proved semi-precarious as to how we would actually realize it. But in the end, I think it worked. We had enough quad things.
Cool. From seeing a part of the concert on the video already that we will put in soon, that you had a lot of fun and a good time. And also the whole event was a good idea. By the way, I just got this coming in. It's a box with all those stickers that were spread out on Superbooth, and I just found out that there's no sticker from Mark from Verbos Electronics, so but he has some. So if you need a sticker, I would if you want a sticker, one of these stickers from here, or if you want a Verbos sticker, I would strongly recommend you to participate in the next Superbooth that's happening in May 2018 from 3rd to 5th, again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and next month we will start selling tickets. And for now, first of all, we talk later after that. We will have a look to the Gesprächskonzert from Mr. Mark Verbos that he made on Superbooth, explaining his way of making modulars. And this is giving you an impression about what this trade show is all about. And what are we doing now? And we see us again in 15 minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
My name is Mark Verbos. I'm from Verbos Electronics. I don't actually have a new module to show, but I think it's not so interesting anyway. Most of you I know to some degree, so maybe it's not news, but really the new release that we're showing, we're from New York City originally, and the newest news for us is that the beginning of this year we moved to Berlin, Germany. So we've been in the process of getting that all taken care of, setting up our new shop, getting situated. Without getting as emotional as that guy did about Andreas Schneider, this event and the Berlin being sort of the capital city of synthesizers is a result of his hard work. So we're pretty excited to be here in the belly of the beast, and we do all of our manufacturing ourselves. So that means that we moved an entire shipping container from New York City to Berlin, and a pick and place machine and all of the gear, and also my fairly outrageous amount of synthesizers and rack equipment. So that's a pretty big deal for us, and it kind of speaks to the globalization of this industry now, because we're basically able to operate exactly as we were before, but from here. And our distribution in Europe is done by Alex Force, so that's one of Andreas Schneider's companies, and they do a really great job, and they've made a real effort to welcome us here. So we're really excited to be doing that now. Real briefly, if you have no idea who I am, this is an example of the stuff that we make. The purpose of, or to me, the intention of the product is supposed to be, or the products is supposed to be interface-driven electronic instruments. The intention being to not treat synthesizer modules as a tool like you would find in a laboratory, but to treat them like musical instruments, and make the interfaces really the first consideration, and then build the electronics back from there. The beginnings of my time working with synthesizers was that I was a musician using mostly vintage ones and collecting them, and then having to fix those, and then that evolved into me building some of my own. But along the way, I became extremely interested in the old instruments that Don Buchla designed. And the most important thing that I learned from his designs was that he thought that they were instruments that needed to be learned or mastered, that they shouldn't be something that just makes sound for you, and they shouldn't they should be sort of flexible to be used in a lot of different ways. So I try to keep that in mind, and I try to make the designs start from an interface that works really well. The most recent product that we released was in October at an event that my wife and I put on together with the guys from Control in New York, called Machines and Music. And at that time, we launched the Bark filter, which is what's right here. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the? Oh yeah. This is a 12-band filter bank with 3-stage bandpass filters that are quite steep, and each of those filters has an audio output and an envelope follower output with an indicator from the envelope follower, which actually makes for a pretty cool display of, it's not going to make sound just yet, but a really interesting display. As I change the frequency of the oscillator, you can actually see where the content shows up in the spectrum, and this actually allows this display allows you to see both in the yellow LEDs see what's coming in, what's the content of the signal coming in to the filter is, and then the red LEDs are indication of what the levels on the outputs are. This is a voltage controlled mixer section, which users of my products know this mixer from the harmonic oscillator. It allows the blending together of these filters, not just from the sliders and from the CV-ins below, but dynamically from these sort of macro controls, and also from external sources. So surprisingly, this bank of fixed filters starts to resemble a filter of really almost any type, low pass in this case, or band pass in this case, or in this case, more like a sweeping low pass or a sweeping high pass. But where it really shines and becomes interesting is when the multiple places are modulated at the same time. And all of the controls happen on top of each other, so the tilt will actually take whatever is happening in the mix and lean it more to the highs or lean it more to the lows, and all on top of each other at the same time. Since there are these fixed filters with these envelope followers and outputs, it becomes possible to use this as a vocoder. But unfortunately, in a normal vocoder, you would have a full set of filters for the carrier input and a full set of filters for the modulator input. But so in this case, we only have one set of filters. But one thing that we can do is take the even and odd inputs and get them with different sources, and then make one control the other. So if the filter that we were if the sequence we were just sending through it starts to control some noise, sounds like that. Essentially applying one sound to the other the same way that a vocoder would. Of course, it's not with 6 bands that aren't really matched. It doesn't make the best vocoder in the world, but for effects type sounds, it can be quite interesting and usable. I don't have any means of playing a drum loop or something through it, which can be a pretty good way to get some interesting stuff happening, or whatever kind of signal or microphone. Can you run this microphone through I'm just kidding. Yeah, how am I on time? I'm only on half the time. I guess an interesting side note, I guess if you have no idea who I am, then you wouldn't know about this. I can talk about the harmonic oscillator a little bit. So in the the harmonic oscillator is sort of our flagship product, our bestseller. It's an oscillator that uses a simple kind of additive synthesis. It takes the the basic triangle core oscillator and folds that triangle wave up in various ways to make the first 8 harmonics as sine waves across the board. So and then has a similar mixer section to what we just saw in the Bark filter, allowing some similar variations like we just saw, but instead of with filter bands with harmonics. So this is actually a rudimentary additive synthesis, but can be a quite interesting means of creating sounds that might actually sounds that might traditionally be thought of as would come from an oscillator and a filter, but in this case using this simple additive technique to create the sounds from pieces. And these actually turn out to be really interesting for doing drones and other very slowly evolving sounds. And I'll show that without any kind of filtering on it. So here there are 3 LFOs and a very slow, smoothed out sequence going to a few different harmonics, and then a couple of random modulations. And here, without even changing the pitch of the oscillator, it creates a drone that's ever evolving and never repeating, which can be quite interesting for ambient soundscapes or drone type music. This benefits quite a lot from some effects. So right now all of this is coming out of just a harmonic oscillator with no filter, no mixed signal. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, there we are again. Thank you very much, Mark. That was super. Well, my little point was that for these Gesprächskonzerte on Superbooth, I gave out a rule saying that we want 10 minutes talk maximum and 10 minutes of concert at least, but in this case it was completely excused, and it made sense to not do it this way because Mark was playing on the same event. Was the same day? The gig? Your gig?
Was the same day.
Was the same day, and the same day they played a smart gig together with Matt. That was really rock and roll, where people was dancing around, and that was great. We will have a look for that later on, but first of all, I had another question about rock and roll. Have you ever been playing a Casio?
I have played a Casio or two in my lifetime.
Yeah,
This one's quite complicated. So
it's quite complicated. Yeah, it's something for me. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, you know about the sound from German band Trio, and you knew that directly. Was that internationally famous, or is it because you're living in Berlin now?
That song was internationally famous, but I think mainly because of a Volkswagen commercial.
Oh, right, yeah. I forgot about that.
Volkswagen was using it for commercial.
Yeah.
Smart.
All that we in America, all we know about Germany came from Volkswagen.
And they still do, and they make hell out of money now.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's probably why you left America, no?
Because of Volkswagen?
Yeah, because you're a fan of Volkswagen, and you didn't want to be a part of that.
Exactly.
That they tear down there.
Cheating the emissions. Yeah.
Well, why did you move to Berlin?
Well, because we have a strong community for the synthesizer people here, and maybe the viewers don't know, but we are operating just steps away from where we're speaking right now. So we're really in the center of the action, and that gives us the opportunity to go to the different events around Europe including in Barcelona this weekend,
Exactly, yeah.
because it would be too expensive and difficult for us to make all of those trips from New York, but while we're in Europe, then it's accessible.
Cool.
And it's nice here.
Yes, and I'm happy to have you as a neighbor. That's really smart.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for
Happy
coming.
to be here. Yeah.
And what about you, Matt? You're living here for a few years already, no?
10 years.
10 years already, okay. And you moved here from Canada
I did. I moved here from.
for comparable reasons or for love?
No, not for love. I just kind of moved and I just stayed. I didn't have any particular draw to Berlin as for any specific purpose. That I knew people here and I liked the city, and then I stayed.
I remember that you was one of the artists that was asked by the Irish filmmaker once. She made that little movie called Totally Wired
I was.
to give an opinion on Schneider's Laden those days. Isn't that already more than 10 years away?
No,
Or
I
that
think
was in the beginning?
maybe 9 years. I think I'd lived here for already 1 year or so
Okay,
when that happened. Maybe 2 years. I'm not sure. But in around that time.
So we have a long history already together.
Of doing
somehow.
videos.
Yeah. What are you doing at the time?
Right at the moment.
Yeah, and
I'm just in the studio currently, just working and renovating. This is the story of my life.
but not expecting the super duper album for
Hopefully,
next
I mean,
week.
no, not next week. No.
Yeah.
You know, these things
Creative
take time.
process.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I would say we'll have a look for the concert, and I want to say thank you to both of you for joining us in starting these wonderful pictures. Therefore, I start the Lego cam. Okay, I push the rock and roll button. That's the rock and roll button. The Lego cam is starting the outro. Thank you very much, Matt Didemus from the Junior Boys and Mark Verbos from Verbos. We expect a new record from Matt Didemus for next year. And looking forward to have you on Superbooth again in May 2018. Thank you. Bye-bye.